I was doing a video about Joseph Gordon-Levitt, top 10 roles, and while doing research for that, I happened to rewatch 500 Days of Summer to see if it belonged on the list as one of his top 10 best roles. I had seen the movie years ago, but the larger highlights of it had kind of faded with time. I am so glad I rewatched it. It is such a good movie. Enough so that I was inspired to make its own separate top 10 video. Now, all that complimentary stuff being said, I do have one large point of contention with this movie that has to be addressed. I'm putting it at the number 10 spot at the bottom of the list. The opening credits have a divided screen, each side showing video reel of the two lead characters during portions of their childhoods. That's a cute idea and all, but come on, that's obviously not Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We know exactly what he looked like at that age. Just watch Third Rock or Angels in the Outfield. 500 Days of Summer has a disjointed, out-of-sequence narrative structure. It jumps around from various days of the 500 in the story. This technique is cleverly used to bounce you around from emotional highs to contrasting lows. For example, the viewer is taken from the explosive high of Tom after he first sleeps with Summer, immediately transitioning into the day after they've broken up. A review in Atlantic magazine by Christopher Orr perfectly sums up how effective this technique is used in the movie. To quote him, "We leap from day 28 to day 303 to day 167 to day 408, oscillating between early hope and ultimate despair, the sudden, unbidden revelation of love, and the slow, crushing realization that it is not requited." Another great thing about this movie is there is a lot of supporting cast you'll probably recognize and cameo appearances. Chloe Grace Moretz playing his wise, level-headed little sister. This appearance was about a year before she absolutely blew up as Hit Girl in the Kick-Ass movie. Some signs of that impending role can be observed in this movie.
What a douche.
Hey, wait, no, Coach, we're not done here.
Rachel? Look, it's easy, Tom. Just don't be a pussy.
Playing one of JGL's bros is Jeffrey Arend. You probably don't recognize the name, but let's see if this refreshes your memory.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Fun fact about Mr. Arend, he's been married to actress Christina Hendricks since 2009. Due to this fact, he was almost unable to be in this movie related to a recurring shoulder rotator cuff injury that he sustained from all the high fives he gets from other guys all the time. Next, with a very brief cameo scene, we have Yvette Nicole Brown, who you should recognize from the series Community. If you don't recognize her from Community, that means that you have not watched Community, and that's a problem. And finally, we have Clark Gregg as Tom's boss at the greeting card company. He also plays the boss on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Agent Phil Coulson.
This is his dry cleaning bill for SweaterVest.
After watching this movie, I really felt like I needed to up my SweaterVest game. I currently have 0. Gordon-Levitt spends 90% of the movie wearing one. It's a good look. As far as job-mandated business casual wear goes, they really work. My biggest problem with sweater vests in general is just overheating. I try to avoid layers. Also, I'd like to pause here for a quick reminder. If you like the content, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And now, back to the list. 500 Days has lots of hilarious, well-delivered jokes.
I'm going to the supply room. Do you guys need anything?
I think you know what I need. Toner?
The first thing that you're hit with is the narrator.
And her round-trip commute to work averaged 18.4 double takes per day. It was a rare quality, this summer effect.
He lets you know right away that you're not watching a regular run-of-the-mill love story.
But you should know up front, this is not a love story.
Early on, we get Zudesh throwing down with one of the funniest jokes of the entire movie.
That was actually my nickname in college. They called me Perfectly Adequate Hanson.
You used to call me Anal Girl. I was very neat and organized.
Then there's
The way
this.
she looks when she's sleeping.
She's like the wind.
When captivated by a girl, JGL hears Patrick Swayze's 1986 super hit, She's Like the Wind. By far, though, the absolute most hilarious scene is so good it deserves its own separate spot on the list. So that brings us to... This movie is very much rooted in reality. Nothing figurative or fantastical happens, except for one scene. I consider it, if not the best scene of the movie, it is absolutely the funniest. The morning after Tom has sex with Summer for the very first time, we get this. The wackiness starts when Tom checks out his reflection in the window of a parked car and he finds Han Solo looking back at him, giving him a wink. It gets even wackier from there. This sequence works so amazingly well because most of us have been there before. We know that feeling that Tom is experiencing. And the stark contrast of the reality-bending hyperbole of this scene compared to the rest of the movie playing it so straight serves to emphasize just how awesome that feeling can be. Another great sequence occurs after the big breakup. Tom is still hopeful that it was all just a big mistake and Summer will eventually take him back if he just gets a chance to talk to her. Summer invites him to a house party at her place in a let's be friends kind of way. As he arrives at the location, the screen splits in two, with the left half showing what he hopes will happen at the party, his expectations. This provides a real-time contrast with the other half of the screen showing what actually happens. This is a really clever and effective way of showing the dichotomy of our expectations versus our reality. I've never seen anything like this done in any movie before. The sequence concludes with an image that plunges Tom completely over the edge into full-on post-breakup depression. If we want to get all Kubler-Ross on this list and consider Tom's journey following the breakup, we can see him going through the 5 stages of grief. Prior to this point of the movie, we've seen him engaged in a great deal of denial, with a little bit of bargaining thrown in. In this sequence, we see him spending many of the 500 days in a dark, depressive funk, with some spurts of anger as well. We see Tom's work suffering.
My assistant. You're, Tom. Everyone knows.
His hygiene suffering.
Get a room. Really?
And his very sanity suffering.
Et ça, c'était sa vie maintenant. Plus que brisé, il est seul.
Here's the part where he finally stops wallowing around in both his emotional and literal filth and decides to get on with his life. It's not the fact that he finally lets one of his friends set him up on a date. In fact, throughout the date, his reluctance to be there and lack of enthusiasm is palpable. What it is the truth bomb that this date drops on him.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
She never cheated on you.
No, never.
She ever take advantage of you in any way?
No.
And she told you up front that she didn't want a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Zudesh and JGL are really well cast as the leads of this movie. Gordon-Levitt, he's handsome and charming. I already mentioned how cool the sweater vest looked, right? He's able to project the perfect amount of humor and sadness. He dances, he sings karaoke surprisingly well. And then there's Zooey. absolutely perfection in casting. She has such an ethereal, magical beauty. During the opening scenes when the narrator is describing her, even though he's talking about the fictional Summer, I imagine most of those things actually do apply to Deschanel herself. She's a wonderful actress also and has great comedic skills. Look at the timing and deadpan delivery of that anal girl joke. Priceless. Despite all its emotional angst and the journey into depression, the movie does end on a high note. After Tom gets a wake-up call from an unexpected source, the blind date that he's completely bombing on, we see Tom finally accepting the breakup, ready to move on with his life. He starts making forward progress on his actual passion, which is architecture. Sitting in the waiting area for an architect job interview, he strikes up a casual conversation with the outlandishly attractive other job applicant. And it turns out that, yes, she would like to have coffee with Tom, and also her name is Autumn. Autumn, right? The season that follows summer. Get it? So here's the lesson I learned from the finale. In life, when Zooey Deschanel tears your heart out, don't fret, for just around the corner awaits Minka Kelly, and she's even hotter and totally DTF. And that does it for our video today, guys. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and join us again for more intriguing and thoughtful content coming up soon.